Hey, Bruce here, the 5-Minute Handyman. I am doing some tiling and wanted to show you how to do this. We are starting on the bottom row in a shower. So let me show you some of the hardware and let's talk about it. So what I have here is I have the markings on the wall. You can see the line that goes across here. And I marked it with my laser, and then I drew a line on there with a Sharpie marker. And so I know that that line is level. And what I did so far is I took the tiles and trimmed them, and this is the most pronounced one that you can see. I took and I trimmed them so that they follow the contour of the floor in the shower. And the shower floor has to be sloped so that it drains the water down to the drain, which is right here in the center. And so these are all, I cut all the tiles and now I'm getting ready to install them. And what we have is we've got quarter inch spacers that I'm using so that I have a nice uniform grout joint underneath here, and then I'm going to caulk. When I'm all done grouting, I'll caulk this joint to make sure that no water gets through there. And so what I have to do now is put some thinset on the walls and then begin installing the tiles. And so what I've done so far is I mixed up the thinset, and I like it kind of ploppy like this so that it's moist enough. There's enough moisture in here so that when I put it on the wall, it doesn't start to dry out right away. One thing I like to do with my tiling is I will put a very thin layer of thinset on the back of the tiles, and then what that does is it ensures that the tile gets full coverage and full wetting to the thinset that's applied on the wall. So let me position my stuff here, and what I'm going to do is I've got a piece of cardboard down because I don't want to drop any of this thinset into the spaces on my floor tiles. So I have to try to be careful not to get any in there. So I'm going to start in this section here and get some thinset on the walls, and then we can go and I'll show you how to do that. So what I like to do to apply the thinset is I'll take it and I'll put it on my trowel. I use a margin trowel to scoop it out and put it onto the trowel that I'm going to use with the square grooves here to get a uniform amount of thinset on the wall. And so what I'll do is I'll start at the bottom here, and the first thing I want to do is I don't want to use the groove part first. I want to first make sure that my thinset wets nicely to the wall. And by wetting I mean it needs to stick to the wall without any holes in between. Okay, and so let me get some more on here. And so I'm only going to go up to the line. And in fact, I want to leave some of the line showing so that as I'm getting my tiles leveled, I can make sure that they are at the right height, because I need to make sure that the top of the tiles are all uniform on this line. Again, I want to be very careful not to drop any thinset onto my tiles that are down there. Okay, and so here's what we'll do. We'll now take my notch and I will draw my notches up. Okay. All right, and another thing about putting on thinset onto the wall or onto the floor, I want to make sure I get nice uniform grooves all the way across, because that's one way for me to guarantee that my tiles are going to be uniformly applied and that they're not going to be crooked, different heights and such. Okay, so we'll get going with this. All right, that looks pretty good. So now I've got some lines here. I've got this line here, which is the center. And so there's going to be one tile that goes across the center, and then I've got two shorter ones for the side. So let me take the center one first. And what I like to do, as I said, I like to put some thinset on the back of the tile. And what I'll do is I'll just want to get a layer on here. And I wipe it clean. And so when this thinset touches that thinset, it guarantees that I have 100% coverage in those areas. Okay. And so I have a mark here, which is my center line. And so what we'll do is we'll just take this, put the spacers underneath the bottom, and line this up. Okay. All right. And so what I do when I put the tile on, I give it a little up and down motion and make sure that I'm lined up with my line, and that's all there is to it. This tile is now complete. That's all it's on there. And so let me make sure that you can see over on this side. Yeah. Okay, and so over here I have this tile, and so what we're going to do is put a little bit of thinset on the back of this one. And it's just good practice to do this. You could get away with not doing this on the back of the tile, but then there's a chance that the thinset won't wet to the whole back. This way, as soon as the thinset touches itself, you know, the thinset on the wall with the thinset on the tile, it sticks very, very nicely. Okay, so I'm going to be using these leveling clips, flash leveling clips, and what they do is they go underneath the tile, so the tile goes here, and there's a wedge that goes in here to keep the top edge of the tiles flush. Okay, and so what I'll do is clean some of that out from in between the tile here, and I'll put a clip in. Alright. Yep. Okay, so this will go down. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to make sure that my space is the right spacing. So I'll take a spacer and put it in here, get a wedge, and now you can use a tool. There's a tool that squeezes this onto this clip. But what I like to do is I like to have the grooves on this on the tile, and then I can just use my fingers to squeeze it in, and then now I have a nice flush front side of my tile. Okay, and so now I'm just going to make sure that I've got the top of my tile on line that this joint is uniform. And if it needs to be tweaked a little bit, I can use these wedges just to lift it up just a teeny bit. Okay. Put my piece back in to make sure that it's the right size. And so, I mean, that's really the procedure for it. And then when I put my next layer of thinset on the wall here, I'll take my margin trowel like I did before, and I will clean off a section, and then I'll install these clips again, and so that my next layer on here is going to have the same front edge surface. Alright, so that's the process I'm going to use, and I just keep going around. But the first row that I do is critical because I need to make sure that this lines up with my line that's on here, so that the next row, which is going to come on and stagger this way, that this row is going to be at the same front surface, and that everything's going to be level, and that I have even joints. So that's the process, and I just keep going around, and would love to have you subscribe to my channel, and if there's some other things you'd like me to show you how to do, please leave that in the comments. Thanks for watching.